I've 28F, lost weight, and now I want to divorce my husband, 29M. Sorry for the long post. We've been married for 5 years and together for 7 years. We also have a 3-year-old kid. After having the baby, I struggled a lot with losing the baby's weight and adjusting to being a parent. I also had the baby blues at first, which was tough. I wasn't focused on my appearance. Instead, I was trying to figure out our new routine and way of life. But then my husband started making these little comments about my body and how I should start working out and wearing makeup again. It made me feel awful, and I worried that he might start looking elsewhere because we weren't being intimate anymore. He even suggested hiring a nanny so I could have more time for myself, but I wanted to be there for our baby full time, so I turned down the offer. That made him angry, and he started acting cold towards me. Months went by without any hugs, kisses, romance, or any kind of affection. My self-esteem hit rock bottom. Every time I looked in the mirror, all I saw were the flaws that my husband pointed out. Our son was already 2 years old, and I desperately wanted to win my husband back. If I got in shape again, he would show me love and affection, and our marriage would be saved. I craved his attention, and seeing how much things had changed hurt. But you can't force someone to be affectionate. I took matters into my own hands and hired some help. With more free time, I started going to the gym, taking swimming classes, which are excellent for your back, getting my hair and lashes done regularly, and eating healthier. And guess what? I've lost a ton of weight, and I feel amazing. Suddenly, my husband started touching me, kissing me, buying me flowers, and treating me like the complete opposite of how he treated me before. You'd think that would make me feel better, but it made me feel worse. All I could think about were the hurtful things he said to me when I was at my lowest, and how cold he was towards me. I get that you can't force attraction, but why couldn't he just hug me or kiss me on the cheek, even when I was overweight? Why couldn't he love me as a human being and the mother of his child? When my self-esteem came back, I got furious at myself for putting up with his behavior for so long. A few days ago, I told him I wanted a divorce because I didn't think I could move past how badly he treated me. He apologized and promised to change and prove that he could be better. But honestly, I'm not sure if I can trust him again. What if I gain weight again or have to deal with health issues? Will he treat me like garbage again? I've talked to some friends and family about the situation. Some say I should give him another chance, while others say I should leave him. So, I'm turning to Reddit for some advice. Do you think I am justified in being upset over this? Do you think my husband can change his behavior for the long term? Or is a divorce the right move here? Relevant comments. More on how OOP felt. It was awful. There were days when he didn't even want to look at me or watch a movie together. It was like we were just roommates, and he would roll his eyes whenever I tried to hug or kiss him. I cried myself to sleep so many nights. So he offered to get you help, and you said no? Between him offering help and me hiring help, there was a big gap of several months. We were still getting used to our new routine, and our baby had a super sensitive stomach. So it was tough at that time. As a mom, I wanted to be there for my child, and felt it was too early to bring outside help. Going to the gym was honestly the last thing on my mind. Then, later on, when things calmed down and we got into a better routine, I could finally take some time off and focus on myself too. So even though you're right, he offered the same help I eventually received, the circumstances were different. Update. 4 days later. Thanks a lot for all the advice you gave me after my last post. It was tough to make a decision, especially considering our son. So, I sat down with my husband and discussed what happened. He kept apologizing, but I asked him if he understood why his behavior was hurtful. He kept saying he was a jerk, but I felt he didn't know why it was a problem, so I broke it down for him. I told him that saying I still looked pregnant 3 months after giving birth, or calling me a mess because of my dark circles, rolling his eyes when I wanted to show affection, not talking to me for days without any reason, and not wanting to spend time together were all hurtful. And on top of that, he didn't offer help so I could take care of my mental health. Instead, he wanted me to go to the gym and get in shape. When I reminded him of all this, he couldn't even look me in the eye and didn't say a word. The silence in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I just don't think he fully understands how badly he treated me. No amount of extra weight can justify that kind of behavior. I wouldn't treat a stranger like that, let alone someone I love. But for the sake of our son, I still offered him couples counseling. And guess what? He refused. He said he was afraid that the therapist and I would team up against him and make things worse. We went round and round in circles, and after almost 3 hours of talking, I finally had enough and told him I wanted a divorce. He tried to convince me he could prove he could change. But when I asked him how he said it, I had to believe in him and see it for myself. That's just not good enough for me. I told him I was taking our son to my mom's place for the weekend and that we would discuss everything before finalizing the divorce on Monday. He said okay, and we left. But now he won't stop blowing up my phone, begging for a second chance and telling me how much he loves me and how he made a mistake. It's disheartening to see how much he changed after we had our son. All I ever wanted from him was love, loyalty, and respect. But he has not given me any of that in the past few years. I still wanted to give him a chance, but he wanted to do something other than work to improve things. If it comes to that, I can raise our son independently, as I'm financially independent and secure. I also have a lot of help, so it'll be okay. I still want him to be a part of our son's life and be his best daddy. But I can't be with someone who doesn't love or respect me. I wanted to thank you again for all your support and the advice you gave me. I thought my husband was the person I would grow old with, but the universe has other plans for me. It will be hard to let him go, but I'm hoping it's for the better. Story 2. I got married just to get a divorce. I don't understand people, and I'm at a point where I don't care if I'm hurting everyone around me. It was an arranged marriage to a high school boyfriend I barely liked. I dated him because my family pressured me to, and every attempt to dump him was met with me being criticized. They all support me, but I want nothing to do with them. My soon-to-be ex-husband, Ryan, had been cheating on me our entire engagement. He proposed with a surprise engagement party. Both our families were there alongside neighbors, the entirety of his family's church, and all our mutual friends. My mother accepted because I was so upset I couldn't even speak. My wanting a prenup was met with pettiness. Ryan is the one who pushed for an infidelity clause, while all I wanted was financial security. I didn't care about faithfulness until he made a big deal. I legitimately came to terms with the fact that I would have a loveless marriage, that I wasn't going even to share a room, let alone a bed with him, and that I'd happily let him screw whoever, because I didn't care. Then I find out he's been cheating on me since he proposed, technically be that. He only offered because of his guilt about screwing my supposed best friend. My supposed adopted sister, the girl turned woman that I helped, through some awful family situations. He could have slept with anyone, and I would not care. But Kim was practically my sister. She moved in with me during middle school, and my parents tried to adopt her for years before. And my mother and his mother both knew. They gave him the epiphany, asking him who he saw himself with, who he imaged being the mother of his children, who he saw hosting church events, and blah blah blah. I know this because he texted Kim all of this, and Kim was the one who told our mothers, and then they continued to hook up for the months we were engaged. There was no honeymoon, the wedding barely continued, but the paperwork was signed before the fallout. I pretended to learn about the affair alongside everyone else when Kim sent out screenshots of texts, sexts, nudes, and videos before the reception. Seriously, you have an entire affair with your supposed best friend and soul sister's fiancé and leave your phone unattended? You don't even change your password or remove my Face ID? And in all of this, I know I could have just outed them earlier. I know some people will tell me I'm a terrible person, but I want them all to suffer. I like his family to suffer. I want my family to suffer. Everyone's reputation is in the trash except for mine. I'm the town sweetheart whose family and in-laws betrayed her. They're the church pastors, and pastors' wives that are so far from Christ may as well be in hell. Ryan and Kim are just as hated, and I love it. The infidelity clause means that I get the bulk of everything. Our joint property and wealth includes wedding gifts, any money given for our wedding marriage, and money from selling the house his grandparents got us. His family has to repay mine for the costs of the wedding, specifically to my grandparents. Their dreams of being one big family are shattered, making me so happy. Story 3. My ex divorced me and wants to be together again after 4 years. My ex divorced me and wants to be together again after 4 years. Throwaway since I want to avoid being linked back to my main account. I'm 46 feet and my ex-husband is 45. We were college sweethearts and married at 26. Right before we married, I gave birth to a beautiful daughter who's now 21. I loved them dearly, and we'd been a happy family for about 16 years before everything went down. Our only problem was my ex's mother. She always had a strong dislike for me. She never thought I was good enough for her baby boy. We had many fights, and my ex cut contact with her after the wedding when she tried wearing white to it. We had many encounters with her years after that. sending us gifts for my daughter and purposely trying to get us to contact her again to see her outside our house. I got home from work 4 years ago to see my ex and his mom together on the couch. My ex was on the verge of tears, yelling and calling me a cheater. I tried to explain I didn't, but his mother supposedly had proof, saying she saw me with another man out in a restaurant together. I'm faithful and loyal, but he refused to hear me out. We had a big argument before he packed up and left to stay with his mother. When my daughter got home from a friend's house, she also blamed me when she learned from her dad. She went to live with her dad while he sent out divorce papers. It took about a year before it was finalized. He got custody of her, and I was granted visitation rights, but she never wanted to see me. It took a long time to move on. I sought therapy and fell into a vast depression. I knew my ex's mother made it up to tear us apart. I can't believe he listened to her so carelessly. I don't blame my daughter, but it still hurts. I moved out of the house to allow my ex and daughter to live there. I ended up moving to a small apartment. It's been 4 years, and I have finally started to be happy again. I made new friends. We had so much fun, and I got a promotion at work. I still missed my family. My daughter, but I couldn't do anything about it. 2 days ago, my daughter called me. It's been 4 years since I last saw or heard from her. She said that my ex's mother admitted to lying. She said that my ex got a new girlfriend, and his mother was furious, claiming he shouldn't have won after all the trouble she did to get rid of me. They got into a heated fight before he kicked his mom out. I nearly wanted to cry. I thought she would never admit it, and now I'm hearing my daughter. She asked to meet up and apologized so many times. I told her we could meet tomorrow. I met her at a restaurant yesterday, but she brought my ex along. Something she never mentioned, nor have I agreed upon. He apologized, saying how much he missed me and that he dumped his girlfriend. He wanted us to be together again. I excused myself and left them there. I returned home to many phone calls from my daughter and text messages from her. She wanted us to talk, and she called me an asshole for leaving. I told her I wasn't comfortable and that she needed to understand. I had to mute my phone and put it down for a bit. I have yet to respond, and I'm trying to figure out what to do. I love her, but can't talk to her with him there. Not yet, anyway. It feels so fast. I wanted to do it one-on-one. I'm deeply hurt and crying as I'm typing this. I don't know what to do. Edit. I did not expect this post to start blowing up. I appreciate the love and support. However, I didn't make it clear about my daughter's custody. Her opinion mattered in court since she was 17 during the divorce. Although the divorce was about me allegedly cheating, my ex and I agreed to keep that apart from the actual divorce process, split what we needed to split, and let our daughter choose who she wanted to be with. She wanted to live with her dad, and I agreed. She was vehemently adamant about not seeing me, so I allowed my ex to have full custody, leaving me with visitations. Not only that, I needed to find an apartment. I had to move out of the house. I was living off couch to couch in my relatives' homes. I didn't have space for her, and my ex mentioned it in court. It was the main reason she was granted to stay with her father. I was under stress, and I was not mentally well. I signed off my rights. I looked like a mess in court, too. There was also a lot more going on during that time. Update, the 12th of January 23. Update. My ex divorced me and wants to be together again after 4 years. Hi, within the past 2 days, a lot of stuff came out and I'm beat. First of all, thank you for the support and advice. There were so many, but I decided to follow the ones I thought fit best for me and my daughter. In the last post, I mentioned an update in the comments. 2 days ago, I texted my daughter to set some boundaries after the ambush attack at the restaurant. She gave me new information about my ex and why he chose his mother's side over mine. Earlier that morning, his mother confessed that she had paid an ex-friend of ours to lie directly in my ex-husband's face, claiming to be my affair partner. Mind you, I never cheated in the first place. My ex took that as solid evidence and divorced me because of it. His mother is a master manipulator and had him around her finger throughout his childhood. So, I'm not surprised why he'd take her side. He didn't know the confession was fake until a few days ago. I wasn't even aware of the entire thing for 4 years. No one had brought it up to me. My daughter gave me the silent treatment. My ex's mother obviously wouldn't tell a thing to me and probably told my ex-husband to keep quiet and to only focus on the divorce. I'm still really saddened, but everything makes sense. I was so mad at him for leaving me over her word, but it was much more than that. Besides that, I decided to give my daughter another chance. She will not know where I live or any personal information to indicate where I am. I'm keeping low contact with her. I don't want her spreading it to her father or other people. I'll only show up during critical events. graduation, weddings, etc. I know my ex-husband will also attend. If that's the case, then so be it. I requested my daughter to put her father on the phone. He, of course, apologized so many times and hoped we could also have another chance. He said he'd do anything to make it up and loved me. I said no. I explained that I was keeping him in no contact and that I was heartbroken when he didn't communicate with me about the cheating allegations and only assumed. I was practically homeless for a short time and needed to see a therapist to help me move on. I wanted to be left alone, and I'm currently not interested in other relationships. Then, I gave him a new email in case of emergencies directly involving our daughter. Is there anything else I can discard? That was the only time I spoke to him in the past 2 days. I've been talking to my daughter, setting boundaries, and whatnot. She gave minor updates about what was going on with her side. They had no contact with my ex's mother, so that's good. I told her never to contact that woman again. She also apologized for her behavior at the restaurant, saying it won't happen again. I understand that emotions were running high and everyone was tense. I forgave her. I still really love her. Mistakes can happen. Now, a lot of you said to sue my ex's mother. I spoke to my therapist about it earlier today. She said it wasn't wise to do so. It'll put more emotional distress on me, and I might have to see her again and may relapse into a depressive state. I don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that woman again. All I want to do is focus on myself and my daughter. I want to rebuild our relationship, and it will be ruined if I do something drastic, such as suing my ex's mother. I won't be pressing charges unless something else happens to the point where police are involved. That would be different. Other than that, I'm taking a break. My daughter can text me anytime, but I said I may not always reply since I want to remain in contact. Thank you so much for the support and love. I can't express how grateful I am. I'm sorry I haven't replied to any of the comments. There was so much, and it was very overwhelming. This may be my last post on this account, unless something happens shortly. You guys are amazing. Thank you. That's it with the story. If you want to hear more, click the suggested video. It would mean a lot if you subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers this month. Thanks to everyone who stayed till the end. We will see each other again tomorrow.